Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to my car. In this video I want to go ahead and give you a behind the scenes look at my car, show you where I mount all my different radar detectors, laser jammers, all the different controls. I want to go over the wiring, dash cam setup, basically get you familiar with what all I run in my car, where everything is run, and kind of what I experience when I'm driving my car day to day. Now, this is not going to be any sort of permanent installation. My setup is constantly changing. I run a different radar detector every week to see how they compare. Right now I've got 3 different detectors in the car. I've got 2 different dash cams that I'm reviewing, so my setup is constantly changing. I've never really had a good time to do this video because my setup's never really complete. The reason I'm actually doing it today is it's something I've been wanting to create for a while, and that thing is out, the sun, so I get to wear these. It's been rainy and cloudy here, Seattle, in the wintertime for weeks and weeks and weeks, and so I apologize if my car is a little bit dirty, but the sun's out. I've been wanting to create this video, and so let's go ahead and do it. Now, taking a look at the front of the car, you'll see I have the ALP heads installed on either side of the license plate. I've got one right here and one right there. In order to get these installed, I actually had a professional actually cut holes in my grille so that he could stick the ALP heads through the grille and mount them in the ideal locations to protect the headlight as well as the front plate area. I also had somebody actually back into my car. You can see the aftermath of that right there, cracked my grille. I did a video talking about the importance of having a dash cam and parking mode to help protect for, when that kind of stuff happens. I'm also planning on installing 4 different remote detectors in my car. Those are going to be installed down here in this lower air intake area. I'm going to do the STIRO, Redenso HD Plus, and Net Radar, as well as a Stinger VIP actually mounted just here below the front plate. Now, if you look at my windshield, you'll see the radar detector as well as 2 different dash cams that I currently happen to be running. You'll see the Redenso XP, which is installed right now, as well as the Papago GoSafe 760 and the Blackview DR650S. This is just the equipment that I happen to be running at the moment. The 2 dash cams are 2-channel dash cams, so I've got the cameras running both at the front as well as the rear cameras pointed out the rear window. Luckily, those rear cameras are actually pretty tiny, so they don't block a ton of the view as far as my rear visibility and my rear view window, but those are 2-channel dash cams that I happen to be testing. Now, hopping inside, you'll see here's how it looks from the driver's perspective as far as the radar detector. I've got it mounted right here by my rear view mirror, kind of the standard spot for a detector. I also have it hardwired. You'll see the cable right there. It actually runs across the headliner and down into the fuse box. I'll show you that here in just a bit. The 2 dash cams are actually kind of hidden and obscured behind my rear view mirror. You can see here's one of the cameras. The other one is right back there, and there's the view in my rear view mirror. Now, over here on the left side of the car, when I'm running an Android phone, I'll actually have it mounted here on this vent with a removable magnetic mount, which makes it really easy to mount and dismount the phone. I don't really run it much anymore for a couple reasons. Number one, that mount has actually kind of damaged my vent. It doesn't do a really good job of gripping it, and it does kind of damage the vent, so I'm not really a big fan of it. This is actually the hardwire cable, so when I need the Android phone, I can just plug it in right there. Otherwise, it's just kind of hanging down, hidden out of the way, which is pretty nice. I don't find myself really using the Android much. The main reason was actually to run V1, but number one, I'm not really running the V1 that much these days, and number two, V1 Driver, which is kind of the iPhone equivalent, is just about to release a new display mode, which is going to allow it to basically mimic the same look of V1, which I really, really like. Plus the fact that it does actually a better job of connecting and reconnecting in the background. I don't really find a reason, much nowadays to run an Android, so I may just wind up removing my extra Android cable here altogether. But when I am running the V1, I have it hardwired right up here. Blackview just said it's in parking mode. I've got my V1 actually mounted right up here, and that is actually connected to a concealed display, which is sitting right here on my dash. And that's really nice to double as an additional display, especially if I don't have my phone out and I'm not looking at it. Instead of having to look up by the rearview mirror, I can just keep looking forward, and all the information is displayed right here in my line of sight, with the exception of maybe, the frequencies. If I do want to see the frequencies of the signals, which I do find really handy, I'd have to look over back at the phone or have my phone actually maybe mounted down there. Any radar detectors that don't run hardwired up by my rearview mirror, maybe it's got a different power cable, like for example the Redenso Pro SC. I've been testing this guy recently because he's got a new beta firmware that's about to be coming out to, add some new features and whatnot, actually making it similar to the XP, but for anything like that, I usually run it lower here in the windshield, and then I just run it down a cigarette lighter power plug right there. This is also really nice because if I want to run a GoPro, I can just put a GoPro like right here in the windshield, and it's able to see the screen, and it's able to see out the front of the car. Whereas if I want to run and, look up here, I don't have a good way of actually mounting a GoPro to be able to see what the detector's seeing and look out in the front. So you'll see in my videos, a lot of times I have the detector mounted here low, and it's either because it's got a different power plug, or actually more commonly is just because I want to be able to show what's going on screen in the video, and that's the way that I do that. Now my iPhone is my main phone, and I typically have it mounted right here in front of my shifter. It turns out in my car it fits really nicely into this slot here, so here's where I have it mounted. I've installed a hardwire cable so I can have my phone charging and plugged in while I'm driving. On the screen of the phone I'm typically running Google Maps or Waze or some sort of radar detector specific app. I've got Waze up at the moment. You can see all the different blue dots are the police that have been spotted and marked in real time here in the app, so pretty handy app. I like that a lot, definitely recommend that. Now behind the phone I have the control pad for the ALP. So I can just go here and press this to kill my jammers. Now I used to actually have my phone mounted in a different location. I've had it mounted right up here on the dash, which I liked quite a bit. You know, I could see it while I'm driving, but I didn't like having to constantly take the mount down and put it back up and all that kind of stuff, and you know, run a cable up and all that kind of stuff. So I've looked into other mounting locations. I run it here now. I've also got a mount to put it here, but I don't like it interfering with the kind of passenger's legs, so I have it here. Now one thing that is kind of a conflict with this, as you can probably guess, is getting to the control pad for the ALP. If I need to kill my jammers, it does make it a little bit less than ideal. I have to kind of pull my phone out of the way and then reach. You know, I can luckily find these buttons here by touch. They are raised a little bit. Press them to kill my jammers. I do have something, because it makes it a little bit tougher for me, a solution that I've come up with, and the ALP can actually kill the jammers automatically after a couple seconds, and I want to go ahead and show you that. So if we pull the phone out of the way, a couple things you're going to see. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the ALP real quick. This LED here is going to light up when I get shot. When I get shot in the front, it turns red, and when I get shot behind, it turns yellow. Another thing, I have a second LED actually installed right here in my instrument cluster, and you can see it's that one right down there. Same thing, that guy's going to light up as well. I'm going to shoot the ALP, and 4 seconds after I get shot, you know, the alarm goes off and everything, they're going to be disabling automatically, and I want to go ahead and show you that. So I've got my PL3 here. I'm just going to aim it and kind of bounce it off these bushes here in front of me, and watch what happens.
Pro Laser 3, ahead. Interference detection, only. Pro Laser 3, ahead.
So you can see everything's lighting up red, I'm still getting shot, and then off the trigger, and immediately the ALP LEDs all turn off. I'm running in pro mode. So anyways, you can see my jammers are set to disarm automatically, which is pretty handy. After that, the jammers are disabled. You can see the green LED right there. It tells me they're disabled, and then in 60 seconds, they will automatically rearm again, so I'm able to use them again. So because of the fact that I have my phone in front of the control pad, it makes it tougher for me to kill the jammers. I can still do it manually, ideally, you know, because I'd want to do it faster than 4 seconds. But that's a good solution that I've got set up. And that's something you're going to be wanting to do anyways, no matter what, is just having the jammers kill themselves after a couple seconds. So that's the way I have that set up. Coming out of the headliner, I've got a bunch of different USB cables. Here's a mini USB cable. Here is a micro USB cable. Keep them tucked out of the way typically, and when I need them to maybe test out a dash cam or something, I can just pull them in and boop, plug in a dash cam. So I've got a bunch of different USB cables, which makes it easier for testing purposes. I get asked pretty often about running rear cameras in a convertible and whether or not when the top goes down it causes any issues there. Now I can't speak for every car, of course, but I found in my car it's actually no problem. The main thing you're going to want to look out for is when you close the top that this area here doesn't actually get pinched upon. The second thing is when you're doing the cable running, just make sure your cable management is good so everything is kind of out of the way of all the bendy mechanical parts, and I use like little cable clips and stuff to make sure everything gets held in place. But I'll go ahead and put my top down real quick, and you'll notice that the way it folds up, it doesn't actually compress down where the dash cams are, so there's actually no issue running dash cams here on my car. Now taking a look at the rear of my car, the main things that you're going to notice is on either side of the license plate I've got the rear ALP heads, so one there and one there.
Interference detection, only. True speed S, behind.
And underneath the license plate, I've got the no photo mounted. Now, I've actually got the ALP heads mounted on a custom mount that I had fabricated for the heads. And the reason I had that done, it's a little atypical, is, you know, I want them actually mounted right here in this location. I could actually mount them to the trunk lid itself, but I didn't actually want the heads going up and down with the trunk. And there wasn't actually a good spot underneath there to mount it. The second thing was right here. I didn't actually want him drilling into there, and there wasn't a good location to drill into here as well. So what I had him actually do is create a mount that these license plate screws actually go into, and it holds the bracket for the ALP heads themselves. The no photo is actually mounted directly underneath. I don't actually use the no photo very much at all. I don't really have an issue with speed cams or red light cams, anything like that. Turns out it's actually kind of annoying in practice, and the reason I say that is, you know, I have the ability to manually turn them on and off. I have the power cable actually, you know, run to the tail lights, so I can control the no photo on and off just by turning my headlights on and off, which is really useful if I'm going into border crossings or toll booths or anything like that. Now, I do have a toll booth here that I use all the time, 520 bridge, and whenever I'm crossing it, it takes pictures of your car, front and rear, so I always wind up turning off the no photo so that, you know, the flashes can work properly, and so they're able to get a picture of my plate. I've also got a little RFID scanner as part of the toll booth system, so, you know, even if it's trying to flash or whatever, you know, they're still going to be able to ID me, so not a good idea to be messing around. That's not what this kind of stuff is for. I've also found going through toll booths, because there's so many cars, it's super easy for other cars to actually trigger this guy, and by the time you go through, it doesn't have any flashes left for it to work for you. So it's not a reliable, consistent system, and that's not what it's designed for. So I wind up turning it off when I'm going through toll booths. Now, that's not a problem in the daytime to turn off my headlights, but at night, if I want to disable the no photo, I have to turn off my headlights, and that's not really cool. So for that reason, a lot of times what I do is if I'm going to be driving at night through the toll booth, I'll just go back here and actually unplug the no photo, and I'm not using it at all, and I don't have to worry about it. So a lot of times I actually just have this guy turned off altogether. There's gonna be down the line, they said they're gonna be coming out with a Bluetooth app for this guy, so you'll be able to enable and disable it from your phone. That would be super nice. That way I could you know, have it wired in and keep my headlights and taillights on and turn this guy off manually, but currently there's no way to control that from inside the cabin. So that's something that I'd like to see improved here. Now, if you look in my trunk, what you're going to find, besides, you know, the reusable grocery bags, is this guy, which is awesome. This guy's saved me so many times. And basically what this is a portable USB battery pack with jumper cables that you can connect to it. And this has saved me more times than I care to admit. If your car battery dies, you know, you can just plug this in and you can give yourself a jump, which is nice. If I'm running my car and maybe I don't want to run the engine and I'm, you know, powering dash cams or my GoPro or whatever else, my car battery may die. And this guy allows me to jump my car myself, which makes it so much easier. I mean, I do have a set of jumper cables on this side just in case that battery dies after like a couple years of not being used or something, or as a backup or whatever. But this guy, I mean, I found it super, super helpful. At this point, I don't want to drive without it. Now, looking in the passenger seat, I've got a couple of different cables. You can see I've got the hardwire cable, as I mentioned, for my iPhone, which is plugged in right there. I also have two other hardwire cables, one there and one there. This is a lightning cable for an iPhone. My girlfriend has an iPhone, so really easy just for her to plug in. I've also got a purple Android phone. She also uses an Android, and purple's favorite color, so I had this one. I'm thinking about pulling this one because she's using mostly the iPhone nowadays, but it's fine for, you know, whoever happens to be here. I have a dedicated cable for each one. I also happen to have another cable here. This is actually for the net radar antenna. The ALP CPU and Bluetooth module and everything is installed back behind here. If you follow this cable down, this is actually a remote antenna designed to plug in the net radar. So when I'm testing the net radar, I've got it here. You'll notice it's actually inside the car. It's supposed to be outside, right? But because I haven't installed the remotes yet, what I actually do is underneath the passenger seat, I have this kind of head visor pouch, and it makes it really easy. I can just plug in any sort of radar detector, like a remote or whatever. Actually plug it into my sun visor. And the net radar I can just plug in right here. So if I need to test any sort of remotes inside the car before I'm installing it, I can do that. So I've got this one, and I can do the same thing with remote M3s or anything else. Makes it really simple. So that's usually just kind of kept out of the way, and this pouch is just kind of kept under the passenger seat. Now back behind the passenger seat and underneath, I've got the Blackview dedicated dash cam battery pack. This guy gives me about 9 to 12 hours of recording time for my dash cams if I don't want to use my car battery. You'll see I don't actually have it plugged in right now, but it's two cables, one that runs to the dash cam, the other one that is powered into your car. And so this is pretty nice for, you know, testing purposes. I'm not really using it that much because I found just running off my car battery, I get a lot longer recording times, but this is just kind of where I keep it for testing purposes. It's easy to just keep right underneath my passenger seat, and it's tucked out of the way. Next, going down into my glove box, you'll find a number of different things. Some of the things I have in here, I've got a Max 360, which is kind of the other detector other than the Redenso XP that I've been running day to day. I've been finding that one pretty handy. I like the automatic lockouts and the arrows and whatnot without having to rely on any phone stuff. And I've got the frequency display here on screen, speed limit, all that information. So a little bit more information than I get with the V1. So I'm finding this to be a pretty handy detector to run day to day. I've also got the pocket radar, which is just a little K-band radar gun, really nice for just testing detectors, making sure they're working. I've also got a handheld laser transmitter, so I can just go and verify that my laser jammers are working. I've got two different ones, the laser interceptor one and the ALP one. This is the one here. It's nice just to press the buttons without having to go through the menu, so that's why I keep this one here in the glove box. Got a little flashlight here, so when I need to deal with any of the wiring, I can just go in and, you know, makes it easier to see stuff. With my GoPros, when I'm running them, sometimes I need an extra battery pack, so I just got a little power source here, little USB one. Turn it on and I can plug in my GoPro and get extra power, or nice for cell phones in a pinch. USB extension cables, screwdrivers, whatnot. So for, you know, just messing with car stuff, extra snacks for in case I get hungry. And then in the glove box itself, other than, you know, typical stuff like manuals and whatnot, I've also got the USB cable for the ALP, so if I need to change any settings or update the jammers without relying on the Bluetooth, I've got the USB cable there as well. Now, just next to the glove box here, I've got this panel which is removable, and I've got a bunch of different cables and power connectors plugged in back there. Basically, this is all stuff for dash cams, and you'll see there's some cables that actually run down, there's some that actually run up into the headliner, and back here, you'll see everything's labeled. So there's the Papago 760, there's the Power Magic Pro, which runs actually to my car battery, and then if we pull this stuff out, you'll notice that back behind here, I actually have a cigarette lighter extension port thing, and this is really nice. And if I ever need to plug anything in, so if it's a cigarette lighter or it's USB, it makes it really easy. I can just plug it right in there and get power. It's hardwired, and I can tuck everything out of the way, so it makes it super, super simple to plug in any sort of accessories and expand as needed. Now, as far as the wiring, most of that's actually done here in the footwell. I've actually got the fuse box right back here, and if you pull it out, you'll actually see that I've got you know, some different ATA circuits which are used to connect a bunch of different accessories. Now, normally everything is neatly tucked away, of course, but I pulled out a bunch of stuff so I can show you what all I've got in here. Now, the obd-ii port is right there. This is kind of power for the radar detectors. I actually have a little L bracket here, so instead of the obd-ii stuff actually hanging down, it goes right there, and then this cable actually runs down to Savvy, and this is actually what powers my radar detectors. So, Savvy, it's an accessory for the V1, and you've got a little dial here, and you can set low speed muting. So below the speed, it's going to keep issuing a mute command to your detectors. Let's say you're traveling 30 miles an hour. Anytime you're traveling below it, this will know that and tell your detector to keep muting, so that if any time an alert pops up, then your detector will mute. So low speed muting without GPS. I have this set to whatever I want. I've actually set it to none, and the reason I'm not using this for any low speed muting stuff is because it actually does conflict with some of the escort detectors. I've noticed the escort detector, the mute command, it's the same one for V1's wiring or for escort, and if I'm stopped, even if I have this set to none, if I'm stopped at a stoplight and I happen to be getting a K-band alert, whether it's a blind spot false or a grocery store nearby or something, it'll keep giving the mute command to the escort detector, which will trigger a lockout if I'm stopped at a stoplight. And I don't like this guy telling my escort detectors to lock a signal out the first time they see it every time I'm stopped. So I'm actually going to be pulling this guy out most likely and just doing a standard hardwire install and just going into the power rather than the obd-ii port. So that's something I do want to change. But this guy actually goes into here. And then you see I've got a splitter for a whole bunch of different things. So I've got a V1 right there, which is the main one. I've got a Bluetooth module. This is the Android one for the Bluetooth stuff. I can just swap this out and put in the iPhone one, and this runs to the concealed display. So I've got the splitter here to do 3 different accessories with the V1. The Power Magic Pro is right here for the dash cam, currently hooked up to the what's it called, to the black view camera instead of that big battery pack under my passenger seat. I get, as I mentioned, a lot longer recording time just using my car battery rather than the dedicated one, so I've just been going with this. Let's see, hardwire cables for dash cams, just all sorts of stuff, and normally I just take all the stuff and tuck it back there. Everything for the most part is hooked in with T-taps, you can see right here, so fuse tabs go into the fuse box, and then everything here with T-taps to connect to the different accessories, and I tend to like to label everything just so I know what's what, you know. So Power Magic Pro, and then the ground cables to connect are all up there as well. And so yeah, there we go. thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this nice little tour of my car. If while you were watching the tour you saw anything that you're like, that's really cool, I'd want that as well, down in the video description I'm going to put links to all of the different equipment that I run here in my car that I talked about and showed you here in the video. So the radar detectors or dash cams, the laser equipment, USB battery packs, all the different stuff that I showed you, links down in the video description for more information about all that. Other than that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and until next time, happy driving, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.